This time we have a Hammer-made buggy with Volvo turbo engine. We'll show you what this machine can do and how it's built, and I think you will be impressed. Let's go! Hi guys, as usually it's me, just a voiceover, and you're watching Review Machines. It's early morning, and we start this video when it's still dark, cause we have huge plans for today, but daytime is so short in winter. Well, it's a Hammer-made buggy that was built literally from scratch. It's a perfect example what a handyman can do even without huge money. Let's look in detail how this vehicle is built. The base here is a metal frame welded from ordinary metal tubes, and it seems to be durable. The engine is mounted from behind. It's 5-cylinder engine Volvo, 2.3 liters capacity, with 340 HP power. The gearbox is mechanical, also from Volvo. There is a custom independent suspension system of all the wheels. Levers and rods are made specially for the machine. The shocks and disc brakes were taken from other car. The buggy is equipped with mud tires. The ground clearance is decent. There is a fuel tank under the hood, and the batteries in the very front of the body to provide better balance. Let's look inside. Here we see sport seats and belts. The dashboard is simple, but looks cool. Some gauges here were taken from a sport bike. Then we see here a standard steering wheel, pedals and levers. Besides, there is a special handle. It's a manual control of the turbocharger. You can adjust the power of the engine according to the road conditions. But when I tried to get in, it turned out quite difficult task. The same thing happened when I was trying to get out. The matter is, the author of the buggy is not so tall as me, and he made the interior only for himself. Meantime, it's enough light to do the first test of the buggy. I strain at the leash to see what this machine can do. And meet Alexei, the author of this buggy, and its only rider. The first thing I should say, the buggy is definitely an evil itself. The matter is, it's so powerful, 340 HP, but the weight is only 500 kilos. Unfortunately today we don't have a proper road to check its maximum speed and dynamic. But even here on the ground it's absolutely clear, all the specs are so impressive. For example, 0 to 60 takes less than 5 seconds. It's limited mostly by your brains, and approximately it's 230 km per hour. Also, we were greatly impressed how the suspension works on rough ground. The buggy literally flies here, despite numerous hammocks. Even now, after just half an hour of active riding. I can say this buggy is an amazing vehicle, showing us an insane performance. But the most exciting thing, that the total budget of the project is really small. But we will speak about the money a bit later, cause at the moment we get quite a sudden occurrence. Well, the suspension worked perfectly as I said, but not for a long time. One of the shocks is definitely out of order now. It would survive probably, if it were Fox shocks or something like that, but cheap no-name stuff as a rule has a short life. Well, but we have many more interesting tests for this machine today, so let's make a quick repair to get it back on the track. Few hours later, our buggy is back to business, and we are ready to proceed our trip. By the way, if we had broken some brand shocks, it would cost us an arm and a leg, and we wouldn't be able to continue the shootings today, but our repair took us little time and money. So there are some pros and cons in no-name cheap details. Well, let's do some off-roading tests. And you may ask me if it really makes sense to go off-roading on the rear-wheel drive vehicle. On one hand, it doesn't make much sense, but on the other hand, I remind you that our buggy has a quite little weight and it's so powerful. Just push a throttle and it jumps out from any puddle. Besides, there is a lock differential, and that also does a lot of good for off-roading capabilities. And summing up all the features like little weight, mud tires, high power, big ground clearance and lock differential, we have a really capable off-roader, at some points even better than 4x4 vehicles. Well, as a matter of fact, we have an awesome turbo buggy for small money, but it took much time to build it. There are numerous custom details in the construction that took a lot of work and patience to make them appropriate for the project. The most difficult task was to make drive shafts that could sustain the power of the huge engine. It took much time, but finally special composite drive shafts were made, and it's possible now to use the whole power of the Volvo engine without the fear to break the shafts. As we can see, the buggy is rather capable on off-roading and hill climbing, but when we tried to take a really steep ascent with the angle about 40 degrees, the buggy backed off due to the frosty ground and only rear drive. But frankly speaking, I'm not sure that this ascent could be taken even by 4x4 vehicle. Meantime, it's getting dark outside, and while we are enjoying this beautiful sunset, let's talk about the whole budget of the project. The most expensive things here are the engine and gearbox. Other parts are mostly cheap, and the approximate sum of building this vehicle is $4,500. I think it's quite cheap, taking into account the specs of this machine. But certainly we should remember that the work isn't included in the price, cause the author everything made by himself. Meantime, we crashed our copter, and I think it's a perfect moment to call it a day. Thanks for watching, guys. Please post your comments what you think of the buggy and if it's worth its money or not. Consider subscribing the channel if you like this video. Stay with us, it will be many more interesting materials here. Goodbye.